His press secretary, how good is she? She actually didn't know what to say.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. When the group chat gets leaked is a meme because it'd be really funny if your group chat with your boys got leaked. Everyone would lose their jobs, right? What would it show if your group chat got leaked? I mean, it'd show the world of men where we're just perpetually talking shit to each other. We don't compliment each other, ladies. We're just talking shit. All right? Guys are just talking smack all day long, and that's just how it is. And if you have a friend in your friend group that can't take a joke, then he's a right? You kick him out of the group chat, right? That's the guy who leaks the group chat. And so, like, if you're in a war zone, right? If you're like in the world of men, you got to be able to take a joke. You got to be able to like answer some tough questions and take some razzing, right? That's how it's got to be. Now that brings us very nicely to the Biden administration, who has such a estrogen-filled, cortisol-infused, raging feminine energy to it. Because it like everyone there is so prickly about any criticism at all of Joe Biden. They just can't stand it, right? They'll do anything. They'll sue you, right? If you criticize Joe Biden, they're always lashing out at any media that dares criticize Biden and he is like the most clownish, embarrassing president of our lifetime. This is like SNL gold, yet SNL doesn't go after him. What does that tell you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a interesting story for you today. In fact, this is one of our favorite stories of all time. Karine Jean Pierre, as we lovingly call her, is the president's spokesperson. She should be able to take a joke, right? You remember what Sarah Sanders went through? Remember Kayleigh McEnany? Like, you have to take a joke. Sometimes you are the joke. Karine Jean Pierre is the joke every single press conference. And she was on a local radio show in must-win North Carolina. Very important, right? Turns out that after a joke or a legitimate question about Joe Biden's dementia, I don't know this radio show, so I wouldn't know, but either or, who cares? Who the hell cares, right? The Charlotte radio host, Mark Garrison, interviewed Cringe on Tuesday. He asked if Biden has dementia and about inflation, and as soon as he asked that question, Cringe just hangs up the phone. Like, your literal, the definition of your job is to be able to, take a proverbial punch for the president. That's the role of the press secretary. And so if you bring this kind of energy, this kind of like flimsy, glass-jawed energy to this, you're just really bad at your job. But here's the clip, ladies and gentlemen. It's so funny. You could actually hear her. You could hear her go click. You could hear her when she rage hangs up, like she's on the phone with her ex-boyfriend. Here we go.
Told a number of people that I was talking to you today. It was interesting, though. They all said, would you please just ask her, does the president have dementia? So before I move on from that, does he?
That, Mark, I can't even believe you're asking me this question. That is an incredibly offensive question to ask.
But people ask it.
Wait, no. Mark, you're taking us down this rabbit hole. Let me be very clear about this.
So eloquent, by the way. I'm not going to pause this every 10 seconds, but like so eloquent. Does the president have dementia? And Cringe goes, today, Junior.
For the past several years, the president's physician has laid out in a comprehensive way the president's health. This is a president, if you watch him every day, if you really pay attention to his record and what he has done, you will see exactly how focused he's been on the American people, how historic his actions has been. And so I'm not even going to truly, really, take the premise of your question. I think it is incredibly insulting. And
listen to the way she talks. I'm not really gonna really take and
so we can move on to the next question.
Gas prices and grocery prices, then big topics here in North Carolina. How does Mr. Biden win votes when people don't have as much disposable income?
Look, the president understands. He grew up in a middle-class family, working-class family in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He gets it. He understands how difficult it is for Americans who are sitting around their kitchen table every month trying to figure out what they're going to pay for. You have to remember when the president walked into this administration, there were multiple crises happening. There was COVID. There was the economy was in a tailspin because of the last administration, because of what the President Trump left us with. Now you're asking me about gas prices. The president took action on gas prices. Let's not forget Russia's invasion on Ukraine skyrocketed prices of gas. And because the president took action, we see we are in a different place than we were a year ago on gas prices. Eggs, milk, seafood products, all the important groceries, those costs have gone down because of what this president has been able to do. And with that, thank you so much, Mark.
The seafood prices costs have gone down. Okay, get that? You can go to your local Red Lobster and check out what Lobster Fest prices are. But seafood prices have gone down. The gaslighting, there's no more oil. All the oil has been used on this gaslight. Like, it's gone. There's nothing else to light the gaslight with. Incredible. Now listen to this.
Have an amazing, amazing day.
Wow. Wow. And she hung up. Wow. I mean, Mark, you listen, I am nominating you to get a press corps badge, and you need to go to the White House. I'm sorry, but you asked 3-4 incredibly salient, important questions that are all front of mind, nothing out of bounds, no baba booeying or anything like that, right? And you did it exactly right on. And I don't understand the fragility of this person.
There you go. The fragility. You've heard a lot about white fragility. Have you heard about Biden fragility? I mean, we've all been seeing it on display for the last 3 years. KJP has meltdown when asked on a radio show in Charlotte if Joe Biden has dementia. Then after KJP is asked about gas prices, she hangs up the phone. Talk about thin skin from the White House press secretary. Come on, man. I mean, you don't think that, like, this merits a conversation about dementia? Look at this Visiting Angels ad. Look at this hospice center and, like, end-of-life care center commercial with Pelosi and Biden. Look at the way they're walking. I mean, this is a nursing home ad. So we don't have, like, we have no right to, like, ask about the guy's mental health. Ages of the founding fathers: 18, 20, 21, 25, 33, 40. Leaders of the USA, both of these two in their 80s. 170 years between Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. How bad is this for Joe Biden? Well, one, of course, the federal government decided that Joe Biden was incompetent and incapable in their own findings in the Her report. But also dudes like Jon Stewart. I mean, really don't like Jon Stewart. This guy's a total fraud. But, like, Jon Stewart is going after Joe.
To you, a one-man show about what Joe Biden's advisors were doing when he turned around and went back to the podium. The show is called No! Do not go back! Please, but he went back. Now, Biden was referring to Sisi, the president of Egypt, not Mexico. Unless it was even worse than that, and he thinks the president of Mexico is named C.
So Jon Stewart had pretty good razzing of Joe Biden in the start of his show. Now, of course, he went right back to Trump derangement. But yeah, he's talking about this press conference where Joe Biden, who was criticized for not being able to remember the date of his son's death, decided to prove that he knew the date of his son's death by proving he doesn't know the date of his son's death.
Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of... Every Memorial Day we hold.
Ever since my son died. We're not trying to make fun of it. The last thing we'd ever do is make fun of it. It's Joe Biden who keeps weaponizing this politically. He's using stolen valor for his son. He always says his son dies in Iraq. We had the clip. We have played over and over and over again. He says it dozens of times. My son died in Iraq. Your son didn't die in Iraq. You cretin. Like, why would you weaponize the death of your son? It's a tragedy. Just leave it alone. I wear this thing to remember my son. It's called he doesn't know. You're the guy. You invite this by doing this. Every single day I wear the rosary I got for our son, the Lady of Glitches and Freezes. Yerp. CNN, right before this, teeing up the Biden announcement by saying Joe's diminished faculties and potential for a second term And federal prosecutors admit he is unfit for office. Jeez, the gloves are off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a really sad state of affairs for Cringe. Cringe loves to lie to all of us. If they weren't gaslighting, there'd be no light at all in the White House. But everyone is like calling the bluff on this, right? Like, so you have all these libs calling Jon Stewart is a lib. Presumably the radio show host is a lib. Like, why would they go on right-wing? They're not going on. The Karine Jean Pierre isn't going on right-wing radio, okay? So it's like, just listen to the libs. You don't have to listen to us. Like, listen to libs.
Biden, clearly he doesn't seem to be as cogent and as lucid as we would like him to be. My bigger point was this. It is a disgrace for the Democratic Party to call themselves progressives when they're virtually begging an 82-year-old man at election time to run for re-election. That is the point that I was making. You're supposed to be progressive, right? You're supposed to be moving forward. You're supposed to be thinking forward. You're supposed to be being innovative and younger and all of this other stuff. And you're leaning on the hopes and the prayers of an 82-year-old who would be Joe Biden. He's 80 right now. He'd be going 81. He'll be 82 at the time of re-election if that were to happen. To depend on him is an indictment against the Democratic Party. And
indictment against the Democratic Party because you're using this old geriatric, says Stephen A. Smith, wokester from ESPN. How about Washington's most favorite liberal journalist, David Ignatius? What does he think about Joe Biden? He has a perch at the Washington Post.
Again, the heart of it is whether Joe Biden is the best person to carry this legacy forward. But I felt it was time to have a more public discussion about this. It is, as I say, something I'd be surprised if you and Joe and the people you talk with are not discussing it in private. I find that everywhere I go, it's a subject. And what journalists like me should do is take issues like that people are talking about in private and bring them forward so we can have a better discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just love it when cringe melts down. It's our favorite thing, cringe melting down, because somebody asked Joe about dementia. Joe Biden doesn't remember who he is or where he is. That's why he needs a note card everywhere. When you ask cringe about that, you get this response.
President, I noticed, had note cards at the border when he was doing his briefing there. He also had note cards last Friday with the Italian Prime Minister. Why does the president rely so heavily on note cards?
You're upset because the president has note cards? You're asking me a question about the president having note cards?
Asking why
the president who has had probably one of the most successful first 3 years of an administration.
Can I stop right here? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to stop. Look at this expression. Is this for someone who's telling the truth or someone who's telling a lie? Let me make something very clear. When you are talking to anyone and their eyes dart up and out and up to the ceiling, or they're blinking super fast, that's just a natural reaction to your nervous system going crazy because you're going to try and lie. When somebody can make eye contact with you like I do all the time during the show, right here, when somebody's making eye contact with you, that generally means at least they're confident in what they're saying and they don't believe they're lying. When somebody does this expression, that's literally a tell that they are a lying sack of trash. Here we go.
Note cards?
Asking why
the president who has had
look at this,
probably one of the most successful first 3 years of an administration than any modern day president. He's done more in the first 3 years than most presidents who had 2 terms. You're asking me about note cards? I'm not speaking to you right now, James. I'm talking to your friend over here, Ed. So thank you so much. But thank you so much for interjecting. Go ahead, Ed.
I was just asking why he relies so heavily on note cards.
I think what's important here and what the American people care about is how this president is delivering for them. And that's what he's doing. And that's what's the most important thing here.
Really? Okay. Also, a big tell for dumb people is about when they're lying is when they get really upset for no reason. When you ask a question, right? Liars, when you ask a question about their lies, start freaking out. And you're like, dude, calm down, bro. And they're like, start losing their minds. Yeah. Karine Jean Pierre, in the words of Donald Trump, they're not sending their best. We are sending our best every single day. You should like, share, and subscribe to our program. It's your boy Benny. See ya.